Hey everybody, this is Zach on this episode number 1 of the Ask the Coach show with Strength Coach Select. Today, our guest on the show is Nick Wilson. He is the Director of Strength and Conditioning at the University of Detroit Mercy. All right, Nick works with men's and women's basketball, men's lacrosse, men's and women's golf. He's got a full staff there, 2 full-time assistants, 1 GA, and today we're going to be going over our preseason regimen and what they do right there for the men's basketball program at the University of Detroit Mercy. So, Nick, if you could hold on just 1 second, I'm going to kind of go over with the audience exactly what this show is, what we're going to be kind of discussing, and what it is going to be moving forward. So, to do something a little bit different for the audience, we wanted to be able to have kind of a more educational segment and cover exactly the X's and O's of what we do as coaches on a regular basis. So today we're going to go over a week by week segment of exactly what Nick does with his men's basketball program, and I'll be able to put diagrams up on the screen so that you guys know exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about it, along with videos to kind of give you guys a perspective of exactly what we're talking about and how Coach has implemented it, what he's doing with his program. So, Nick, before we start, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Hey, thanks first of all for having me out here, Zach. This has been great. I enjoyed watching your stuff, what we're doing and how you're doing it, so it's been great doing that. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Hey, so I've kind of been all over the place as we've gone. I was an intern here at University of Detroit Mercy back many years ago. I don't want to even try to date myself right now. I don't want people to know how old. But I was an intern here. I went away. I did some minor league baseball. I was with the Minnesota Twins and the Cincinnati Reds in their minor league program. I took a year off, just because, hey, got to reset and try to figure some things out. And I got back into baseball with the Tigers for a couple of years. I was at AAA with them and low A. And then I was fortunate enough to come back as the first full-time assistant here at Detroit Mercy. This is kind of a place that got me started, and they allowed me to come back and become an assistant here. So I spent 5 years back here as an assistant. Again, I tried to make another change where I tried that private sector. We all try to make that private sector work every once in a while, but that's a tough field, and that's the sort of field I was looking to get into. I got a phone call saying that the director job here at the University of Detroit Mercy again was open. And of course, I was going to dive at. It's kind of like a little bit of a homecoming for me, kind of my per se alumni here of this university. So I'm back, and we've been back here now 16 months, ready to go.
No, that's awesome, man. It's good to get kind of back where you're from, where you used to be around people that you've been around before, and
definitely,
that's awesome. So before we kind of get really into the thick of the stuff, can you give us just a general outline of your thought process when you started putting together your programs for your basketball program there? Just a general outline. Let's say for your whole preseason, what your thought process was, what your needs were, and so much and so forth.
Definitely. Well, my program for this basketball program and for all my programs is really going to evolve and change every year. It really depends on what the coaches are looking for. We don't have the same team every year. You're going to have either guys graduate or leave the program, or you've got new guys coming in. So you really got to sit down with my head coach very regular, and we talk about, hey, what do we want to see? How do we want to see things? What are we looking for as a so this year was no different. We sat down, and this being our second year together, we really get a little bit more in depth of what we wanted to do. And this is going to be a 94-foot team. We're going to run up and down the court. We got to be in shape. We had to change our bodies. So we had a lot of things that we needed to do. But the main number one thing is these guys got to be in shape, be able to play 40 minutes and be playing at a high level at all times. We're not going to sit and wait on guys to come to us. We're going to go attack guys. And so we had to be ready to do that. So really that was the number one aspect of conditioning. We were at the top of our.
So what do you when you started to develop? You talk about conditioning. What did you do to really develop, your overall conditioning plan? So let's say right now you're in preseason. So what is your plan moving forward from let's say, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Did you start your preseason training? I'm gonna guess. Yeah. So same with me. So What are you doing preseason wise until the season starts for conditioning?
Well, so the summer, if we go back to the summer, we went into a lot of mileage. My guys hated it. That's not necessarily what I think basketball is, but our coaches really believe in getting that mileage, getting into it. So we set standards for our 2-mile test that guys had to meet, or guys got to be moving toward. I'm still a young strength and conditioning program, so we're kind of setting our standards for the future. We don't necessarily need our guys making those standards today, but we want to take our program and know that 2, 3, 4 years down the line, this is where our guards are going to be, this is where our 3-4s are going to be, this is where our 5s are going to be, and that's going to be top to bottom, whether these guys like it or not. Right. So they've got that base conditioning level, if you want to call it that. I promised my guys we wouldn't run any more miles and things like that. So now we're transitioning more, so anything we do is on a court, whether it's change of direction or suicides or 17s or whatever it is. It has more of a basketball feel to it versus putting them on a track, making them run laps, putting them out on the street, making them run laps. It's a high pace on the court, cut, plant, cut. They should be able to see aspects of their basketball game in what we're doing. That's the goal.
So let's say, I'm guessing your coaches are a lot like mine, where we're doing a lot of individual work, stuff like that. What do you do? Like, do you have a conditioning test per se that they need to pass before they before they start the season?
So basically, the way we set it up, again, like I said, we're still a young program. We've got our head coach has been here now. This is his second full. So we're developing our standards and how we want to set things up. So basically, what we set up was, here's your time that you left. There was a 2-week window between what we did our summer and headed back to school, and then we basically said, here's what you got to do. Here's where your 2-mile time is. You better match it or beat it. Whether it's a second or whether it's 10 minutes, I don't care, but you better be able to match that time.
Right.
That was just to kind of maintain that base condition that we want. We also had a 17s test, which everybody knows. So 17 on your basketball court, you're running the width of the basketball court. Obviously, it's 17 touches.
Right.
We set ours up this year again, like as a young program. We set it up at 65 seconds. They got a minute 15 rest. We ran another one. They got a minute 15 rest, and then we ran 8 touches in 30 seconds. It was just basically what we did was we wanted our guys to work while they were gone. Bottom line, those are tests. Those aren't necessarily hard tests, but the 2-mile test. 2-mile has nothing to do with basketball. But at the same time, you can't just roll out of bed one day and run a 2-mile and match your time. You've got to actually work at it and do that. 17, yes, they run 17s like crazy in practice. So let's get them going. Let's make sure that they're doing their 17s while they're gone for those 2 weeks, not sitting there, eat Cheetos and watch TV.
Right. So how do you progress them with their 17s in terms of time requirement? Do you, or do you just keep it at a standard and say you have to pass that and improve?
So yeah, for that that was really for that first 2 days. We ran the 2-mile, we ran 17 tests. That was our first 2 days of training. Make your tests. That's it. Move on. We get into season now, and 17s. They do 17 in the practice. Coaches can kind of make and pick and choose what their feelings are. If they feel like they're getting their ass kicked, they're running more often. And I get them. We stick with that 65 just because that's a number they understand now. I don't have to explain it. You guys got 65 seconds to make 17, so we don't have to think about it. Yes, as we become here more established, we're going to probably crank that number down. But here we should be in the 60s, low 60s. Who knows where we can go? But that number will progress as we move forward as a program.
Okay, cool. So weight room wise, what are you doing from, like we said, 2 weeks ago until now when the season starts?
So from now until October 1st is our first day of practice. I'm assuming you're probably around that same time.
Yep.
But they're with me 4 days a week. We have 2 days in the weight room, 2 days on the court. So I mean, we use the trap bar a lot of times with our guys. We do squat from time to time, but with a bar on our back, we're getting away from it now as we get into season. went down to the trap bar, just taking that stress off their backs.
Right.
Always the best squatters or the most focused squatters. So if I can try to take that bar off their back and put it in a trap bar, they can learn to tolerate that a little bit more.
Right.
And then we're even going to transition as the season goes into some more kettlebell stuff, some goblet squats, some single arm holds, some high pulls with kettlebell. Again, just taking that stress off their shoulders, off their backs, just making sure we're maintaining those bodies throughout the course.
Right.
So 2 days, with Monday and Wednesday. Monday's our power day, power explosive day. We're trap bar, and that's where we're going to get the plyos. We live and die by the Vertimax here, whether that's right or wrong. My guys love the Vertimax and Formex, so we use those a lot, whether it's a split jump or just straight forward jump, quick jump.
Right.
As much as we possibly can. We'll do some single leg stuff those days. A lot of hamstrings. We got the Sornic glute rollers and things like that. So that's kind of our Mondays. Wednesday's our other day in the weight room. Actually, I'm sorry. Thursday's our other day in the weight room. We get Wednesdays off, but that's kind of our strength day. We're going to get our bench press and let them feel good about themselves and get them a little jacked up and getting into later on in the week when they're finishing up the week. Right. So those are our 2 weight room days, right?
Okay. So what do you do on the other 2 days that you have them for 4 days? So is it just conditioning, or is it agility and conditioning? What's your process there?
It's a little bit of both. So basically, what we've done is our coaches, one of our assistant coaches, also our player development. We've sat down a lot of times talking about a lot of this stuff, and he's come up with this idea, and I'm sure maybe other teams are using it. I hadn't heard of it until he brought it up, but basketball is split into 4-minute wars, we call them here. So we're going for 4 minutes. You're going to get that TV timeout. You're going right back into a 4-minute war. So there's 10 4-minute wars in a regular game. So we base our conditioning, our agility, everything on the court that we're doing with me on those 4-minute segments. To the point where we start something, boom, I'm on 4 minutes. We're doing whatever it is, whether it is an agility, whether it's a change of direction, whether it's exercise, whether it's 17, whatever it is, we're going for 4 minutes. And we're getting a little bit of rest here, a little bit of rest here, similar to a basketball game. But that 4 minutes, they get 3 minutes. They get to enjoy it. They get to go sit down. They get to do whatever they think they need to get ready for that next 4-minute war. They don't always understand how long 4 minutes is.
Right.
Basketball, they don't even understand. I get a lot of, whoa, what minute are we on? It's just 4 minutes. But it's they've got to take it and they translate it to basketball and makes them understand more what they've got.
Oh, that's awesome. So, just from my perspective, I'm asking you because I'm just curious. So, with us, I feel like our individual work is extensive. They get a lot out of the kids, and they do a great job pushing the kids to where, they think they need to be. So when you're doing your 4-minute stuff like that, for me, I've always thought, okay, well, if this is my thought process anyway, okay, well, we have our conditioning segments, we have our weight training segments, and if they're going to be doing sport-specific movements with their coaches, I always kind of start to stray away from their sport-specific movements that they're doing with me. Does that? If that makes sense.
I agree with you. That's always the way I've kind of done it also. Again, I'm taking another kind of look, another kind of adjustment into it with talking. Our director of player development, his name is Jermaine Jackson. He played in the NBA for a lot of years, played overseas for a little bit. He's got some really different insights, and he talks to a lot of these guys still, and so he has some really good insights. And what we've been doing is we've been taking their basketball stuff and turning it into drills.
Okay.
So we're attempting to adjust the way we have our defensive setup. Okay. Well, they'll sit down and he'll show me here's where we got to be. Here's where they've got to be if the ball goes in this position. So they give me those type of insights, and I can take it and put it out onto a sheet or a diagram, and I can say, guys, I need you to get from here to here and set up cones and turn it into agility drills. So now they can take their basketball that they've learned in practice, say the day before, or the practice that they're going to have that night, and now I turned it into a conditioning drill. They might not even realize until I go, guys, you see what you just did there? You went from point A to point B. You did this, you did that. and then you see the light bulbs kind of go, oh, and so now it turns into basketball.
Right.
They can take it into basketball instead of, again, we go back to the summer where I had them run in circles, mile after mile after mile. They hated it. Now they're going to give me full effort on the court because this is basketball. This isn't Nick coming up with some crazy exercise, some crazy drill. It's I'm getting to a spot, I'm getting my hands up, I'm getting down court, I'm doing all those things, and they can see really see the basketball side. So it helps me in a way, and they don't even know at the end of 4 minutes. All right, go sit down. Oh, okay.
Oh, lights went out. Hold on, just a second. There we go.
You got those fancy lights like we got.
Oh man, it's a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying. I've always just like in my head, I always break things down, and maybe sometimes there's points where like maybe I'm a little bit too by the book in terms of like just think about stress here and stress there, and I kind of watch what individuals look like, and you never know, because I know sometimes and there's a lot of ways where we have to be the guys that say, okay, well we're gonna dial it back here because And
then we'll get into that as we go. Even like if you look at our preseason right now, like we're going 4 days a week. That's still a lot of training. But October 1 hits, I lose a day like that. Like we're not even there. There's no argument. There's no discussion. You're down to 3 days, and it's done. Now I've got to make that adjustment. We hit November 4th was our first preseason game. I think we played Wayne State. I lose another day real fast.
Right.
But that's okay. We should be at that point. We should be in a position where I don't need 4 days. These guys, can't handle 4 days with me, and 6 days of practice. So my coaches have been really good about that, about listening. Like, hey, get them out here. Or even if they say, hey, no, we want them in there, I'll just change my plan and we do something like that. So just a matter of know our athletes, and I mean that's I'm sure the way you handle athletes. You see them all drag in. Either you missed the party that night or they're so.
Yeah, that's how it goes. You guys are playing the alma mater, huh?
Oh yeah, Wayne State.
Yeah.
Yeah. We played Wayne State our first game. You guys popped us last year, so we need to get it back.
Really? They got after you last year.
Guys came in here. Okay. Yeah, that was I'm gonna tell you what, we lost to you, and the next night and then 2 nights later we lost to Ferris.
Ooh.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, there was some practices in there. I wasn't sure I was coming out alive. That's first year, so we've made some changes and upgraded, but yeah, Wayne State will always, from what I've been told, Wayne State will always be on the schedule from here on out.
That's pretty solid. That's awesome. So kind of go into just our last segment here. So break it down, and I'm putting your program up right here, for the video so the viewers can watch it or look at it and make sure that they understand. And if you don't mind, I'd love to attach those to the video if you're okay with that, so people can look at them and maybe email you, ask you questions if you got anything.
Always up.
But to cover like the last segment, so we've talked about your conditioning. We've talked about we've talked about your weight room stuff, and I'd like to touch back on your 4-minute. You talk about 4-minute wars.
Yeah.
What are some if you could give us some specific examples of what you do during those 4-minute segments? Are they just 4-minute agility stations? Is it they have a med ball station over here, ropes over here? Do you alter them? What's your program there?
In the weight room, the 4-minute war thing kind of goes to the side. Just because we do share the weight room, it's we don't. I'm a big believer, and I need to have other teams in seeing. Our teams need to see each other work. Everyone thinks the basketball team doesn't work hard, and they don't think so. I enjoy having those teams in there. So really, the 4-minute war in the weight room kind of goes out just because I don't have the time or the space for it.
Right.
The 4-minute wars on the court, I mean, it can be built into anything. If we're on the stairs that day, when we're sprint running stairs and we're doing plyo hops and sprints on our stairs, you got to get as many of those 2 rounds in as you can in that 4 minutes. That's kind of the goal, and then we kind of build off of that. Say, So Zach, you came in today and you got 4 rounds of straight to the tops without them knowing that I'm going to back it up like that.
Right.
All right, you get 5 rounds in here this time. So it takes that that 4-minute war more or less is just reminder of what the game is, how the game's played, to get them thinking about basketball. We'll do everything from our agility drills. I mean, this morning we did, a classic Jim Kielbaso up 2 cones, back 1, change of directions, acceleration, deceleration type stuff.
Right.
And literally we just went through it. Boom, go. And they kept going. 4 minutes started, we went. And we talked. Our rest time was our walk back from the other end of the court. We talked through as we walked, but as soon as we hit that baseline, we're going back. So there's a constant movement type of situation to it. We did the other day. There's an NBA test out there that it's 30 touches in 3 minutes, which, I mean, it's full court touches.
Right, that's tough.
You see someone actually do it, and you look at your guys and you go, "He's in shape. He didn't even get close." It's a very intense test. What we did, we took it and broke it down. So that 3 minutes, I can get, so that first minute they just get to walk and kind of take their time. And then that next minute they got to go as hard as they can, try to get 10 touches in a minute. Then they're kind of jogging, walking, again, right back into that. So we're taking, again, things that they know they're going to see in basketball, or, the NBA is going to, if the NBA ever comes calling, they're going to expect you to do this. You better figure out how to get 30 touches in 3 minutes. So
Is it 3 or 2?
So we do 2. We do 2 slow and then 2 hard. So we only get to the 20 touches. But it's 30 touches in 3 minutes is what the test is. But for us working our way up into it, we're starting kind of baby. The first day we did it, we had all of our returning guys come in, and literally 0 of them got it. And the closest guy got was 27 touches in 3 minutes. I mean, and he's one of those kids that you can't do anything to. He just runs nonstop.
Right.
He's fat. So when you're going, oh shit, he can't do that. We got to get our guys to that next spot. So,
right.
The more I can turn that into it and go, guys, you guys would be able to do this, and you can't do this. There's that little accountability. Everybody wants to go to the NBA.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate the explanation. So, last thing, do you got, when you talk about, developing programs and putting things together for your athletes, let's talk about basketball specifically. And I've been writing, all sorts of stuff down while I'm talking to you, because I'm taking some stuff from what you're saying so I can bring it on with mine. What's some advice you can give to, those coaches, let's say, just all around strength coaches that are developing for a basketball program? What's some advice you can give to them that they can take with them from this?
The biggest thing that I learned over the last couple of years is listen to your coaches. Like, not necessarily the exercises or the drills or anything like that, but listen to what they have to say about what teams do. I've gotten to many arguments with our coaches about guys just aren't in shape, our guys aren't in shape. But if you look at it the way they look at it, they're not in basketball shape. I didn't work on basketball during the summer. We worked on running miles, and so you've got to listen to your coaches, see what they're actually saying, and then turn around and have a reason for what you're doing. I think that's number one. Some people come in and say, "This is my program. This is what we're doing." Well, with 95% of coaches out there, that's not going to fly. You've got to listen to what coaches want to say and what they want to hear. Give them something. Let them know this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it, because you said that. Right. And they buy into it a lot quicker, a lot more often than just trying to be a hard-ass strength coach if you want to get that. You work together as a group. That's the only way it's going to move forward. So right. I think the more I learn and understand that, my coaches believe in it. My coaches agree with it more. And then turn around and say, "This is what you wanted, coach. This is what you got."
Right.
Not necessarily a scapegoat. I don't want to say that. That's not. But tell me you want our guys in shape. You're not worried about them getting stronger.
Right.
You can't have both. So I think the more you communicate with coaches and listen to them, the better.
That's great advice, man. Great advice. So, Nick, I appreciate you coming on the show. If you have not followed Nick, make sure you add him on Facebook. I believe your Instagram is it you or your assistant that has the Instagram?
It's our staff. So our assistant runs it.
Okay. Yeah, so they got a really good. They put some really good content up on their Instagram page. Do you have the handle on hand?
I think it's Titan Strength. Sorry, I don't.
It's all right. I can look it up and I'll put it on the screen so people know.
I missed that. I'm missing that Facebook and Instagram thing. I'm trying to learn it, but I'm struggling with it a little bit.
No, that's all good. Well, thank you for coming on the show, man. I appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, and we appreciate everything you're doing, man.